you so much for joining us for this week's Q&A. To say that I am excited about today's Q&A is an understatement. After talking to Dr. Schwartz, you'll understand why. Today joining me is Dr. Matthew Schwartz. He is a radiation oncologist from Comprehensive Cancer Centers of Nevada, which is a wonderful partner of ours, and they do great things in the community, and I'm really excited about talking to you, Dr. Schwartz. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So you and I have had a previous conversation about this, but it's so overwhelming and fascinating to me that I thought it would be best to have you on to explain to us what Theralink is, what it does, how it came into existence. So we got a lot of questions, and I'm almost not sure where to start, but why don't we start with, actually, how do you feel about starting with how you got into oncology?
Sure. I actually grew up in Las Vegas. I went to Valley High School here, and my stepmom was a nurse at Sunrise Hospital in the neonatal intensive care unit, and she would tell me stories about work and babies that they saved, and I thought it was really interesting. And so I started thinking about a career in medicine in high school. And then I ended up going to UNLV here and studied pre-med, and then had more opportunities to shadow physicians. And then I realized this is really what I wanted to do. So I ended up being fortunate enough to go to medical school here in the state of the University of Nevada School of Medicine. And I left for a while to go do my residency training. I went to Yale, and then I went to McGill University in Montreal. And then I ended up coming back because I love Las Vegas, and this is my home, and feel very fortunate to be able to work here and take care of patients here. And that's my story.
I think it's safe to say we're happy to have you back. Actually, Nevada is thankful that you came back. So it's always, I hear it's sometimes it's tough to attract and keep good doctors. So we're just really happy to have you. And most of that is based on just 2 conversations I've had with you. So I will tell you, sometimes I'm a bad judge of character, but this time I don't think I am.
Likewise.
So we talked about Theralink. First of all, help me understand, Theralink is the name of the test, correct?
That's right.
So you guys have created, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but I'm going to use created, invented, come up with this test that is about to make a dent, a huge dent in breast cancer treatment. Is that correct?
That's correct. So the technology was originally invented, let's say, approximately about a decade ago at the National Institute of Health, the NIH, which is the largest government-sponsored research organization in the country, and then it was further developed at George Mason University by a group of scientists there. Theralink Technologies is a company that owns the patents, that owns this technology, and so there's a little bit of a confusion, but Theralink is the name of the test, and the name of the company that owns it is called Theralink as well.
Got it. So tell me about the test, like the basics about the test.
So really, I guess from a patient's point of view, what the test does is we're starting to use it in breast cancer patients. And so if you're a patient that has breast cancer, you ask your doctor to order this test. The doctor then orders a test like they would any other test. And from a patient point of view, that's it. And so the doctor then would instruct the lab that reviews the slides, the pathologist. This is a process that already happens for every cancer patient. And then those doctors send it to Theralink, and Theralink does a test and tells you what the right treatment is before you do it. It's really, I guess the simplest way to say it is Theralink can tell you what the right treatment is before you do it, whether that be perhaps chemotherapy or hormone therapy, like tamoxifen is one that a lot of people have heard of, or sometimes targeted therapies such as Herceptin or other treatments that may be indicated in that patient's case. And so it sounds kind of common sense and intuitive that you would order a test that tells you what to do, but it's really not really the way that cancer is practiced for the most part now.
Right. So Now let me ask you this. This isn't an automatic test, or is it? Like, is it automatically happening at this point?
No, no, it's not. This is a new test that most doctors would not be aware of. Doctors that are, some of the world's leaders in breast cancer are aware of it because it's a newer technology, but the average physician probably doesn't know about it. And so that's, part of what we're trying to do is raise awareness that this test is going to be coming to the market and that'll be available for breast cancer patients to help their doctors and the patients decide what the right treatment is before you do it.
So, and this is probably a silly question, but this is how I learn. Why is that important to have the right? I mean, I get that the right treatment is important, but aren't all treatments the same?
No, they're completely different. And so for breast cancer, treatments could include, these type of systemic therapies could be chemotherapy, which is what people think of where, it can be quite hard on your body sometimes and be toxic in the sense of it could lower your blood counts, it could weaken your immune system, etc. Hormonal therapy treatments are kind of more targeted type treatment. They typically have less side effects than chemotherapy treatments. And there's other targeted therapies like Herceptin, and we have a whole new group of immune therapies that are very targeted. They kind of help your immune system kill the cancer, and they're not quite as toxic as what we think of as the tried and true old school chemotherapy treatment. So they're all different. They all have their role in different situations, and how to pick which one is the right one is the most important thing. And this test will help us do that.
Oh, so actually you and I had a conversation about the number of breast cancers that exist. And I think you told me an astronomical number. Isn't it like 400 different types of breast cancer?
Right. So this is the interesting and somewhat confusing part from a patient's point of view is, when you're a patient and someone says you have breast cancer, you think that your breast cancer is the same as everybody else's breast cancer. But what we're finding out now that we're understanding the biology of it is that breast cancer may be 400 different types of cancer, each with a different origin, with a different kind of treatment. That we all call breast cancer just because they arise in the breast. And so what that means is, and that's why it's been so difficult to cure cancer probably, is because they're so heterogeneous, they're so different. The way they arise is different. And that's why we haven't been able to find a magic bullet so far to treat them. But we're on the right track. This is part of being on the right track, is now that we can kind of map out or program what the right treatment's going to be, it's going to save the patients a lot of toxicity that they may not need. It's going to save time because if you know what the right treatment is up front, you don't need to waste time with other treatments that may not work. So it's really a good thing for everybody.
I mean, I've heard this a minimum of 2 times now, and it blows my mind. Like the concept absolutely blows my mind, which is why I want to make sure we're communicating. The idea that it may not be curing every breast cancer, but what it will allow you to do, if I'm saying this correctly, is target your specific this specific person, right? So
right.
It's
Exactly.
not well, this treatment worked on these 10 women, so we're hoping it works on you. It's, hey, no, we can study or test what is happening in you personally and target a treatment for you. Is that
That's
correct?
right. There's a word for that. It's called
Tell me.
precision medicine. And in
Oh,
this case, specifically, it's called precision oncology, which means we're trying to find the right treatment for the right patient at the right time.
wow.
So, currently we base our treatments on groups of patients. And so we'll
Yeah.
say a patient has this stage of breast cancer in this situation, the treatment is X, Y, or Z, and those are based upon randomized trials of groups of people. And that's still really important, and we will continue to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
now we're going to take it to the next level and say, hey, we're going to send your test to the lab, and we're going to run an analysis on it, and that test may tell you exactly what the right treatment is for you personally.
So, and like you did say it earlier, but I want to make sure we reiterate that this test isn't something extra. Like they can already do it with material, with the biopsy that's already being taken, correct?
That's right. And so the idea is that that biopsy, in order to know that a patient has cancer, almost every patient gets a biopsy of some sorts, either
Mm-hmm.
a needle or they have surgery or some way that they've had a biopsy. That's how we know they have cancer to begin with. What we would do if we ordered this test is then ask the lab that did that, that read that pathology report, and then they send those specimens to Theralink. And so from a patient's point of view, they wouldn't need to do anything different. It doesn't require any other poking or prodding. The pathologists already have that tissue because that's how we know that they have cancer. So basically, yeah, from a patient's point of view, they don't need to do anything else. This is all done on the back end between the doctors and the labs, and it's just a test that needs to be ordered. It's very simple.
Oh, okay. So, and again, forgive me if these are silly questions, but remember, I'm not
No
a
silly
doctor.
questions. That's why we're doing this.
So let me ask you this. There is, let's say there's a woman who's, man or woman, doesn't matter, correct? These will work equally on men and women with breast cancer?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a woman that's diagnosed with breast cancer a year ago. She's been going through the traditional treatments. They don't seem to be working as well for her. She hears this and says, well, shoot, I want that test done. Can you use that same biopsy from a year ago, or should they get new biopsies because they've been going through treatment?
The answer is probably.
Okay.
But a lot of times what can happen is, let's say, I'll give you another example. Let's say a patient has cancer and goes into remission, and then years later a new spot pops up and they think it might be the cancer. They'll take another biopsy. We could use that one.
Okay.
You know, we could use that one. Could a year ago? It probably still could be used. The
Okay.
answer is 100%. I don't know, but I know that you can use specimens from many months ago and sometimes even years ago. So it just depends.
So this is not totally about Theralink, but you just made me think of this. So it wouldn't hurt to take a new biopsy though, would it? Or is it not good to base it on the newest biopsy?
No, it would not hurt at all to take a new biopsy,
Okay.
and you could actually send both of them. So
That's
that,
what I'm wondering.
yeah,
Like, would it be, I bet it would be insightful, extra beneficial to have them both and to
it would.
evaluate both of them, right?
It would, because the thing that we're finding is that cancers mutate over time and they
Yeah.
change. And
Yeah.
so sometimes what happened in the beginning is not what's happening now, and maybe that's why the treatments are working. And so they can change over time. And
Got
so
it.
it'd be interesting to see them both, actually.
Yeah. I'm an inquisitive person.
Yeah,
I'm like, I
absolutely.
love questions that are answered. So
Yeah,
why not if you have the opportunity? And I feel like biopsies are invasive, but not as invasive as having cancer, correct?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, silly question again. How long does it take to get your results?
You should have the results back within 2 weeks, typically. They're talking about a
Wow.
9-day or 10-day turnaround at this point. So it's pretty quick.
Wow, that is quick,
Yeah.
actually. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of waiting around with cancer, I feel already. So to be able to do
I
it that
see that,
quickly,
and the patients that I see, the worst part is the not knowing part.
yeah,
What I see from patients, and I know from my own experience with my own family, is the not knowing is the most stressful part. And a lot of times when you know and you have a plan, you feel like there's a big weight lifted off you because they're like, okay, now just tell me what I need to do and I just need to get through it. And it's kind of like, it's not on their shoulders anymore. Now it's on the team's shoulders to take care of it.
right. So I know we've been talking all about breast cancer, which is obviously what interests us the most. Right now, you guys are focused on breast cancer. Is there a plan to do other cancers?
There is. I don't know what other cancers are next because that's really Theralink and it's going to depend. But right now we're focusing on breast cancer because that's where we see the biggest need, especially for triple negative breast cancer patients. We don't have a lot of good treatment options out there other than um, traditional chemotherapy treatments. So we see a really unmet need for triple negative inflammatory breast cancer patients because they can have a really tough time, and we could see that might be an area where Theralink could really help these patients. So we see all breast cancer patients, but especially those patients could really potentially benefit from Theralink. And that's where we see this going in the short term. In the long run, yes, I could foresee this type of technology being used for every type of breast or every type of cancer, even other than breast cancer.
Wow. So your plan, if you don't, I don't know if I'm asking this correctly, but the plan is to just get the word out to all breast cancer patients. Like, will this be available in Colorado or
Yes,
Arizona?
yes, all breast cancer patients would be potentially a candidate for the test, and whether they're in Arizona or California or New York, they could have this test ordered because all they would have to do is the doctor would order it, and the pathologist would then send it to Theralink, and the lab could run the test from anywhere. And
So would you recommend the patient, if they're interested in doing the tests, going to their doctor and saying, "Hey, I heard about this new test," or do they wait till the doctor brings it up?
well, I would encourage them to ask their doctor about it. You know, and
Okay.
they could also look at CCCN's website, triplecnevada.com, where we list a lot of new therapies that are potentially available for patients. We have clinical research trials available for patients. They can go to Theralink's website. The Theralink Technologies is the name of the company that offers the test, and read about it and encourage them to discuss it with their doctor whether or not they may be a candidate for the test. One of the things at CCCN that we're really proud about and that we'd like to share with you guys is that we've been offered the opportunity to send a Las Vegas patient, a comprehensive cancer centers patient, to be the first patient in the world to receive the test. And so we're really excited about that because it's not pretty often that Las Vegas is in the headlines for being the first in the world for a new medical treatment or a new medical test. It's really cool for Las Vegas. It's cool for our patients. It's really exciting for Comprehensive and for Susan Komen and Theralink. So we're really excited about that opportunity, and we want to get the word out about that for sure.
I do have one more question along those lines in terms of comprehensive cancer centers, and if this is out of left field, you don't have to answer it, but is it possible for anyone to go to comprehensive cancer centers that has breast cancer? Because, and not that I'm saying, their doctor is a bad doctor, but maybe they just would like a second opinion, or they really do want to participate in the test and their doctor doesn't know about it yet. Can they at least come to you guys to get the test done?
Yeah, absolutely. We're open to seeing any patient as long as we take their insurance, and we take basically every insurance unless they have certain managed care capitated contracts, but we take almost every insurance. And so we're happy to see any patient to talk about the test, or even give them a second opinion. Absolutely. We do that all the time. And because we're the largest provider in the state for oncology, and we have the most clinical research studies. We have 176 clinical research studies in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And so we see patients all the time, not just for second opinions, but for patients that are interested in getting a potential, opportunity to receive a cutting edge treatment that maybe they can't get anywhere else.
Right.
Like being on a study, or like to discuss about Theralink or CyberKnife, or we have a lot of things that bring people in that they can't get anywhere else.
I think that a lot of us, and I'm included in this, don't think that we get to participate in our healthcare, right? We think it's dictated by other people. And I just want to remind people that we not only are we allowed to participate in our own healthcare, but it's really highly recommended. Correct?
Yeah, no, I encourage patients to be, their own best advocate, because, the better informed that you are as a patient or your family member, the better treatments you're going to get, because you're going to be aware of everything that's available. You can get second opinions. It's always good to get more information, because what you don't want to happen is whatever treatment you do for any kind of cancer is you don't want to have the coulda, woulda, shouldas, or, oh man, I wish I had looked into that.
Yeah.
You want to feel comfortable with whatever you're doing. And that's part of that process, is being informed. Talk to as many people as you need to to feel comfortable about it. And any doctor worth their snuff is going to be fine with a second opinion, third opinion, because we're all on the same side. We want everybody to get the best treatment they can.
Right. So, okay, one more question, and I know I keep saying that. This is my modus operandi, is somebody says something and then I think of a new question. If someone really did just want more information about the test and what can be done, you said that TheraLink has a website.
Yeah, let me give it to you right now. Hold on. TheraLink Technologies is the name of the company. The
Okay.
website is https //theralink.com. So I think the easiest way is www.theralink.com is the website.
Okay, and we'll put that in our comments at the bottom so people can look that up easily, and I'll actually do a link so they can link directly to it as well.
Yeah, I'll send it to you as a chat.
Oh, that's even better. Yes, look at us.
Hey,
look at us.
Zoom
I love
experts.
it. Who knew? Good thing you're a genius. I already told you I was a genius and a liar, so we already know that I'm the smart one in the room.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm kidding. All right,
No.
so I'm overwhelmed. I think that as we move along throughout the months, maybe in a few months from now, we can check in and see what kind of progress is being made, because I think it would be really, really interesting for our constituents and the people that support us to know what is happening. It's one of the questions I get the most of. Well, I get a lot of questions, but one of them is, how come we haven't made any strides in eliminating breast cancer? And really, we have.
We've made a lot. I think, I know you don't like to toot your own horn, but I think we should point out that the technology that was made to develop TheraLink was developed at the NIH and George Mason University. And one of the things that we found is that research was directly funded by groups such as Susan Komen. Susan Komen literally funded the research that developed TheraLink. I don't have the exact number, but we were estimating, $40 or $50 million was spent to develop this technology over the last decade.
Yeah.
And Susan Komen was part of that. And so I think that, your supporters and donors should realize that, that when they donate money and they get awareness about breast cancer and about Susan Komen, there is a direct result, and it leads to advancements in the treatment of breast cancer such as this. And so money, donated to Susan Komen literally has led to, technology such as TheraLink, which we believe, and I believe very strongly, can save thousands of women's lives. And that's really cool.
Oh,
Be proud of yourselves.
It's amazing. That's why I'm so often speechless about it. It's why I just keep pointing people to you guys who can articulate it better. But that's why I wanted to do this opportunity for me to talk to you about it so that you could explain it to our people as well. So
yeah, I just want to give you guys a big thank you. So, we're seeing the results of it now, and that's, decades of you guys working hard and raising money and, trying to make a difference, and you are, and this is part of it.
You are too good to us. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my silly questions, but I do appreciate your patience. I feel that this is gonna help us communicate to other people as well. Sure. I love the idea of just asking your doctor, asking politely for the test. If they're not familiar, if the doctor's not familiar with the test, they can go to the website, but can they call comprehensive cancer centers? Is that legal?
Absolutely. They can call me anytime.
Okay.
Call me at Comprehensive Cancer Centers, or they can look on our website and contact me or get more information from us at CCCnevada.com.
Yeah.
Or go to TheraLink's website, www.theralink.com, and get more information about the test and see they might be a candidate for it. But I believe in it. I think it's going to change the world, and I think it's going to save thousands of women's lives, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it, and look forward to talking more.